At last, we're on video 30. I'm sorry, guys. I've chickened out a bit with the way I've dragged these last ones out, but I won't lie, I've run out of ideas. So I hope you're enjoying these last few videos based upon horror films that are based upon true stories. So I hope you're enjoying them. I find this sort of trivia quite interesting, and I have saved the best for last, and hope that, yeah, you've enjoyed watching along. We've got one more video to make after this. I don't quite know what that is yet, but we're going to see what happens for Halloween tomorrow and Samhain. And yeah, I've got there in the end. It was really tough. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. For all the people that joined in the last week, really appreciate it. And I've got so many things planned. My job, it is a bit of a busy job, and it just took over a bit last week, and now I'm on holiday. So I am going to catch up. I'm going to catch up with going back to doing some of my witchy stuff. I wanted to do some of the witchy stuff, obviously, for the 31 videos, but it's just not happened, you know. I hope you've enjoyed the things that I have showed you. I'm sorry I didn't get out to the graveyards, but I am going to do that. And it'll be a longer video, so it'll work out better. So anyway, this is video 30 of 31 days leading up to Halloween, Vlogtober. And it's the best, the cream of the crop of horror films that you just would not know were actually based upon true stories. Now, everybody knows that Amityville Horror was actually based upon a true story. The family really did move into a house that had this murder. This guy murdered 6 people in that house, and it was basically said that the house had told him to do it, and that family moved in and had exactly the same thing happen with the husband, okay? And that was actually based on true events. I absolutely love Amityville, but I didn't know when I was younger and I watched it was based on true events, and it actually is. So I thought Amityville should be up there, and I also think what also should be up there, and I don't think people know, is Insidious. Now, Insidious, there's quite a few sequels, isn't there? There's quite a few of them. I think there's 4, maybe 5, I can't remember. Definitely 3 or 4. Really scary. And they are all taken from, I'm not saying every bit in the film, but it's actually taken from people who are in that kind of industry, you know, psychic, clairvoyant, the kind of, you know, paranormal, that kind of thing. People who do this, you know, who can channel, those kind of people who've documented things that have happened to them. You know, like the lady in there, she keeps talking about the never, where people go out into this, I don't know, it's a bit like now the vow is low, and it's very easy to communicate with spirit, isn't it? At this time of year, because the vow is low, and you go out into the, people call it out into the ether, out into this, well, she calls it the never, doesn't she, in the film? And this is all taken from actual people's documentation of the experiences they've had. So professional psychics, professional people that channel, a clairvoyance, mediumship, and all that kind of stuff. And that's all taken from true events. And, you know, obviously the film's put together, and, you know, all of that, and the story's all written, but the actual events are actually taken from true life events. So yeah, I thought Insidious should be up there, definitely, with Amityville, because it's just not something you're expecting. Now, The Exorcist, when The Exorcist came out in the cinemas, people were being ill, people running out screaming. It was just the most awful thing. People were so terrified, that kind of religious horror, talking about the devil and all this kind of stuff. And of course, what people didn't actually realise was this was based upon a 13-year-old boy. They got the idea for the Exorcist film and the book, of course. There's a book. I don't know if the book came out first, actually. I'm not sure. But they got the idea from something that actually happened out in the USA, in the United States of America. And it was a 13-year-old boy. And the story was based upon what happened to him. Obviously, they changed it for television, for film. and made it into a girl, Reagan, who had got possessed, but it was actually a boy. It was actually a boy that was the one that they'd actually just brought in, you know, to do the exorcism, and the things that had happened to the boy is how they got the idea for the story for the girl, Reagan. So yeah, Exorcist is actually true story, which is absolutely terrifying. Because it is a creepy film. It is a creepy film. And you can imagine when that came out, I think it was, what, 70s? And you can imagine how terrified people were of that. Also, The Fourth Kind, it's not a horror film, but The Fourth Kind is based lightly upon true events. Now, when I say lightly, there was very, very sly. It's a really good film, and everybody was like, oh, brilliant film, brilliant film. Not really a horror film as such, but I suppose it's a bit up there with the horror films. But this is a bit of a twist with this one, because it's based upon true events, but they're not actually the events of the, it's not actually the events in the film, but just that one little bit where that woman who is so persistent that all this has happened, that is true, but the daughter doesn't disappear. She gets taken and brought back, but she doesn't disappear, and that's the truth. So it's almost like a lie, but it is based on true events, but they kind of lie and make it even worse, but that bit wasn't true. The daughter doesn't disappear, but that bit was true about the mum and the daughter situation that happens in The Fourth Kind. So yeah, it's kind of like a true story, but there's a bit of a lie in there as well. I had thought of another one that I wanted to throw in, and now it's bloody gone. Oh, I can't believe that. It was really good as well. No. Oh. Well, hang on a minute. I actually forgot this. Dracula. Oh my God. Gary Oldman, Dracula 1992. My favourite film. Is actually based upon Vlad the Impaler, who was a real person, supposedly did all this gory stuff, threw people up on stakes, conquered the land, thousands upon thousands of people all hanging on stakes, and did drink blood. And that's where Bram Stoker got the idea when he stayed in the castle and wrote the story Dracula, which was like, I swear, I can't, it was 125 years old, Dracula. Watched a documentary the other day and they mentioned it. 125 years old, the story by Bram Stoker, Dracula, amazing. That wasn't what I was thinking of though, but that did just come to me. Absolutely amazing. But now, this is the one for me. A Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh my God, I absolutely love Freddy. I've got Freddy everywhere in my house. Freddy, so cool, brilliant, funny, cult, classic, hilarious. There's comedy in there. The actual story, grossly enough, everybody... Okay, so there's two stories. They said that there was actually a murderer who went round with knives, but that's not where they got the story from. There was actually a boy, and I think it was out in a different country. I got a feeling it was like Argentina or somewhere. I might be wrong. It might have been America, but I've been doing a lot of these and I might have got mixed up. But in a different country, Argentina, I think, this young lad, as he was growing up, he was having these dreams about this person trying to kill him, and he'd told his family and everybody. And when they got to the house, because nobody had heard from him, he'd actually died in his sleep from wounds. And they already knew. I mean, it wasn't Freddy in an hat with claws, but that's where the story come from, that Wes Craven got the idea to write Nightmare on Elm Street. And that's where that comes from. It was actually true events. So that's it. I haven't got any more horror film trivia for you. I hope you've enjoyed them. We've got one video to go, so I will be back to do that. Thank you all for watching my 31 videos. There's one to go. We're on 30 now, so there's one more video to go. I'll be back tomorrow with that video. I'm sorry we lost touch a bit there, but we've caught back up, and I'm very pleased we have. It's been tough. I've run out of ideas, I won't lie. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed them all, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow on Samhain, on Halloween the 31st. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you soon. Ta-da.